Greetings, Victory family. I hope this devotional finds you blessed and prosperous today. Hope your family's doing well. Hope you're doing well. When I think of the heart of worship, my mind goes immediately to the intimacy of our daily walk with Jesus. Defining a heart of worship can take us many, many directions, but for me, it's being in a perpetual state of awareness of God's mercy and grace. Worship is an expression of admiration and reverence towards God. We can worship God in many ways, expressing our love for Jesus in songs, worshiping Him by giving, and verbalizing our love for Him to others. When all of these things align, then one can truly say, I have a heart of worship, a lifestyle filled with honor and reverence for the only true God. Worship is not just something we do, but something we live. John 4:23 and 24 says, "But the hour is coming and now is when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father is seeking such to worship Him. God is spirit, and those who worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth," emphasizing the word truth. When worship is grounded in truth, it brings freedom, true freedom. People worship things daily, but these acts of admiration and reverence leave you empty and void. It lacks the substance found in true worship that is grounded in truth. My first experience with true worship happened when I was 16 years old. I was not raised in church, and my experience with any type of music was very limited, and what I was listening to at that time, really worshiped selfishness and really demonic spirits, to be quite frank about it. I had never heard any type of true worship music ever in my life. A friend of mine invited me to church, and I reluctantly accepted the invitation. And of course, being two somewhat irresponsible 16-year-old men, we were fashionably late to the church service. As we parked and started walking to the front of the building, I heard something on the inside coming through the walls that I had never heard before, and it immediately got my attention. My heart began racing as we entered the service and took our place in the middle row. I looked around, and everyone there was singing and raising their hands and worshiping with all of their heart. And I had never seen anything like this before, ever, and I was completely awestruck. I didn't understand what I was seeing or what I was experiencing. All I know is that the music I was hearing somehow, some way was speaking directly to my spirit, and I began to cry. I looked over at my friend and I asked him what was going on and why was I crying? He just looked at me and smiled as if he knew the answer, but wanted me to experience this moment and figure it out for myself. I stood there for what seemed like an eternity and watched and listened for almost an hour with my heart pounding and racing and tears flowing down my face. Things that I could not explain. My entire family played music, and we were a very musical family and still are. Everyone played instruments or sang, but never anything like this. And that night literally changed my life forever. And from that moment forward, I never looked back. This night only made me hungrier for the truth, and I wanted to know more about what just happened. One simple invitation to attend a church service at 16 years old began my journey in developing my own heart of worship. Today, I love to sing and worship everywhere I go, and it's one of the many ways I express my love and admiration and reverence to my Heavenly Father. Discovering the heart of worship that night transformed a broken boy and offered hope that I had never had before. That night, I literally felt substance. It was real. I could feel it. I could touch it. I could taste it, but I couldn't explain it. All I knew is what I was seeing and hearing was the first thing in my entire life that had meaning and substance to it, and from that point forward, I was never the same. As we enter our fast as a body of believers, let's allow the Spirit of God to permeate our hearts and enter the deepest crevices of our being. Worship is not a one-time event or thing. Worship is a lifestyle. The Greek word for heart is kardia, and it refers to the seat and center of human life, encompassing emotions, thoughts, and the inner self. In the Bible, the word heart is often used to describe the source of a person's motives, their passions, their decisions. Matthew 5:8 says, "Blessed are the pure in heart." In other words, blessed are the ones with pure motives, pure passions and decisions. Matthew 22:37 says, "Love the Lord your God with all of your heart." In other words, love God with all of your motives, your passions, and your decisions. My son and I attended the online SOAR meeting, Justin and I, a week or so ago. We were listening online as we were working on a project in our garage. And as we discussed this fast in the heart of worship, I heard something in the back of my garage. And when I looked, I saw a bird that had flown into a glue trap and was stuck, trying its best to escape. We picked up the glue trap and worked hard to free this trap bird, all while listening in on the meeting very intently. We eventually set the bird free, and I could not believe this was actually happening during the SOAR meeting. I was reminded of Psalms 124 that says this: If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, let Israel now say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, when men rose up against us, then they would have swallowed us alive, when their wrath was kindled against us. When the waters would have overwhelmed us, the stream would have gone over our soul. Then the swollen waters would have gone over our soul. Blessed be the Lord who has not given us as prey to their teeth. Our soul has escaped as a bird from the snare of the fowler. The snare is broken and we have escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. And of course, a fowler is someone who catches birds in a trap or a snare. As Justin and I worked to free this bird from the trap, it kept biting us over and over again. It resisted our help, not knowing we were actually trying to save and help it escape. And sometimes this is what we do to God, right? We are stuck in a trap, needing to be set free. And while He is trying to help us, we resist and fight back, not realizing if we would just put our trust in Him, praising and worshiping Him in the storm, He is so ready and willing to set us free. Having a heart of worship will not only bring honor to our Heavenly Father, but it will build our faith and gives us a freedom that only God can provide. If you live your life with a heart of worship, not only can this be a source of strength and blessing, you never know whose life you may change forever, just like that 16-year-old boy years ago. God bless you, Victory. Love you guys very much. You guys are awesome and you're amazing. Have a blessed day.